Hi everyone, today we'll be talking about a very important concept in education, which is the curriculum implementation. Kapag sinabi natin curriculum implementation, ito yung actual na proseso kung paano na isasabuhay ang curriculum sa classroom. It means kung ano yung nasa curriculum guide, syllabus, o learning competencies, ginagawa nating real learning experiences for the students or for the pupils. Dito pumapasok yung actual teaching activities, discussion, assessment, lahat ng nangyayari araw-araw sa klase. Curriculum is very important because kahit gaano kaganda ang design ng curriculum, hindi ito magiging effective kung hindi maayos na maipapatupad. It involves interpreting the curriculum, planning strategies, using resources, and adjusting based on learners' needs. In short, curriculum implementation is the bridge between what is written on paper and what actually happens in the classroom. These are the learning outcomes. Explain in sufficient depth the nature of implementation as a change process. You will describe the various modernist implementation models such that you and fellow readers can role play their enactment. You will discuss postmodernist implementation models, articulating why and how such models could be activated in school settings. Articulate the different assumptions of modernism and postmodernism. You will explain your effective responses to modernism and postmodernism and how your responses might influence your engagements in curriculum activities. And this is the outline of the discussion. We will discuss first the nature of implementation. The second one is the implementation as a change process. The third one is curriculum implementation models. Let's start with number one, rapid societal and educational change. Ibig sabihin, kapag may bagong kompetensya na kailangan sa trabaho, may bagong skills na kailangan ng learners, o may bagong global issues na dapat talakayin, the curriculum has to respond as soon as possible. Kung mabilis ang implementation, students receive updated, meaningful, and future-ready learnings that matches the demands of society today. So curriculum implementation becomes more than just following a plan. It becomes a strategic action to keep education aligned within the world. Consequences of delayed curriculum implementation. Kapag naantala ang implementation ng curriculum, maraming negative effects. Number one, outdated learning outcomes or contents, misaligned educational goals. The other, widening skills gap, reduce competitive of graduates. In short, delayed curriculum implementation leads to learning that is out of sync with society, making educational system less effective in preparing learners for the future. Okay, we also have challenges in educational systems, usually from national agencies, regional offices, or central authorities, tapos ipinapasa pababa sa school instructors at learners. Because of this structure, mabagal ang response ng time, limitado ang teacher involvement, bureaucracy slows innovation. This traditional structure becomes a fast challenge or a challenge in a world where fast adaptation is essential for school to remain relevant. The other one, statistics on curriculum failure. Dahil sa maraming barriers gaya ng lack of the adaptive planning, weak management, insufficient teacher training, limited resources, resistance to change. Because of these factors, many curriculum reforms end up stalled, poorly delivered, or abandoned before they reach full effectiveness. In today's complex and fast-changing world, hindi na sapat ang traditional hierarchical model sa curriculum implementation. Yung lumang style na dapat ng decisions ay galing lang sa taas, then passed down to schools is becoming less effective. Bakit? Because modern education needs flexibility, collaboration, and quick decision making. Kaya ang kailangan ngayon ay adaptive, and network approaches. Ibig sabihin, schools, teachers, communities, and stakeholders work together. Decision-making becomes shared, not one way. Curriculum adjusts quickly based on real-time needs. Information flows in multiple directions, not just top to down. Through network approaches, education becomes more responsive, more innovative, and more aligned while learners' evolving needs. Next to that is educator preparedness and mindset. May dalawang magkaibang pananaw tungkol sa readiness ng educators. Some say educators lack managerial or leadership skills. That's a demanding changes in the curriculum. Teachers sometimes struggle with planning, organizing, and adopting new systems. The next one is others say the issue is not skill but mindset. Minsan, teachers feel overwhelmed sa biglang reforms or biglaang reforms, sa dami ng requirements or sa rapid changes. Kaya ang challenge ay not just competence, but the rigidity of thinking, fear of change, or burnout. This perspective show na kailangan hindi lang technical skills ang i-develop. Teachers need adaptability, open-mindedness, supportive environment, opportunities for continuous learning, rest and mental space to embrace change. In short, improving curriculum implementation requires both system level flexibility and educator level readiness. Let's talk about technical and scientific approach emphasizes a systematic, organized approach to curriculum planning and implementation with clear steps and objectives. It aims to achieve the predefined educational goals, often with quantifiable metrics to assess success. Next relies on top down leadership, where decisions are made at higher levels and passed down for implementation. It often seeks uniformity across educational settings, ensuring consistent delivery and content across classrooms or institutions. Prioritizes efficiency and control over the process, ensuring each stage of curriculum development and delivery is carefully managed. Values stability and predictability, minimizing deviation from established plans to ensure consistency. We see the difference between the technical and non-technical. Let's proceed with non-technical or the postmodernism. It views curriculum implementation as a dynamic, flexible process that adapts to changing context and needs in real life time. In real time, rather, emphasizes the learning journey, allowing curriculum to evolve based on student needs local culture, and community values. Support decision making at all levels, encouraging teachers, students, and communities to contribute to curriculum adaptation. Also recognizes the diversity of student experiences, aiming to tailor learning to individual and community contexts rather than enforcing uniform standards. Opens to new ideas and approaches, viewing change and experimentation as essential to effective implementation. Thrives in complex, unpredictable environments, adjusting curriculum as need to stay relevant and engaging. Okay, before we shall proceed to the next lesson, please answer this. You may answer this in your own words. It can be English, combination of Tagalog and English. It's fine with me, okay? So it's not based on the grammar, it's all about the thoughts. Based on your experience, how have fast changes, delayed curriculum implementation, and teacher preparedness affected learning and the use of the curriculum? The purpose of curriculum development, regardless of level, is to make a difference, to enable students to attain the schools, the societies, and perhaps most importantly, their own aims and aims to make a meaningful impact by helping students reach their personal, their societal, and educational goals. We have to understand the nature of change. It raises critical questions on the purpose, value, and motivations behind change, along with its benefits and potential drawbacks for students and society. Educators can exert some control over change, but effective management requires deep understanding of its nature and types. But it is important to discern if demands for change serve educational purposes or are politically driven. Unpredictability of change. Change outcomes are often uncertain, especially regarding how students will respond to the new curriculum. Change can happen gradually, for example, adjustments, or quickly, example, new technologies or social trends. Current trends in rapid change. Rapid advancements in neuroscience and learning science are influencing educational methods. Changes in population, diversity, and family structures create varied educational needs. Growing cultural diversity is leading to more voices and perspectives in educational settings. The rapid growth in technology is reshaping curricula and implementation processes affecting how students engage with learning. According to the research, for curriculum change to be successfully implemented, there are five guidelines should be followed. Number one, innovations designed to improve student achievement must be technically sound. Changes should reflect research findings regarding what does and does not work, not designs that simply are popular. Number two, we have successful innovation requires change in the structure of a traditional school. The way students and teachers are assigned to classes and interact with one another must be significantly modified. Number three, innovation must be manageable and feasible for the average teacher. For example, one cannot innovate ideas concerning critical thinking or problem solving when students cannot read or write basic English. Number four, implementation of successful change efforts must be organic rather than bureaucratic. A bureaucratic approach of strict rules and monitoring is not conducive to change. Such an approach should be replaced with an organic and adaptive approach that permits some deviation from the original plan and recognizes grassroots problems and the school's conditions. Number five, avoid the do something anything syndrome. A definite curriculum plan is needed to focus efforts and money or sound rational content and activity. Modernist approaches to curriculum implementation. Defined rules and procedures. Modernist approach relies on clear rules and procedures for initiating change and developing curricula. Rules provide a structured framework, helping identify curriculum needs, outline reasons for change, and guide steps for curriculum development and action. There are types of change in curriculum implementation. Number one, planned change. Ideal approach where individuals have equal power and follow precise procedures. Suitable for those who prefer clear, precise actions but also can fit within postmodern curriculum development. The other one is coercive change. Please look at the difference involves one group controlling the process, excluding others from decision making. Leaders focus on stability and efficiency, but coercive methods often lead to discord and distrust. Next one, interaction change. Features an equal distribution of power among groups with shared goals. Strategies develop organically during the change process, but this can lead to a lack of clear direction and uncertainty. We have random change, unplanned and unstructured with no specific goals or foresight. Common in schools when curricula are altered in response to unexpected events such as new legislation or pressure from interest groups. We can also consider change in terms of its complexity. John McNeill listed increasingly complex Types of change. Number one is substitution. This depict alteration in which one element may be substituted for another. A teacher can, for example, substitute one textbook for another. By far, this is the easiest and most common type of change. We have alteration. This type of change exists when someone introduces into existing materials and programs new content, items, materials, or procedures that appear to be only minor and thus are likely to be adopted readily. Number three, perturbations. These changes could at first disrupt a program, but can then be adjusted purposefully by the curriculum leader to the ongoing program within a short time span. An example of a perturbation is the principal's adjusting class schedules, which would affect the time allowed for teaching a particular subject. Restructuring. These changes lead to modification of the system itself, that is, of the school or school district. New concepts of teaching roles, such as differentiated staffing or team teaching, would be a restructuring type of change. Number five, value orientation changes. These are shifts in the participants' fundamental philosophies or curriculum orientations. Major power, broker of the school, or participants in the school must accept rather, and strive for this level of change for it to occur. However, if teachers cannot adjust their values domain or value domains, any changes enacted are most likely going to be short-lived. Let's now proceed with the postmodernist approaches to curriculum implementation. Dynamic and its evolving nature. Unlike the structured, precise nature of modernist approaches, postmodernist Postmodernism is fluid and continually evolving, resisting static definitions. Postmodernist approaches operate within a framework of chaos, complexity, and uncertainty. Next, improvisational approach. Curriculum development is likened to improvisational theater, where educators enter with a general idea but respond spontaneously. Actions and responses are playful and planned and reactive, advancing curriculum implementation organically. Interpretive analysis or the hermeneutics. After engaging in improvisational actions, educators use interpretive analysis to assess the meanings and the impacts of their actions on students and stakeholders. This art of interpretation is an ongoing, fluid process involving constant re-evaluation and reinterpretation of curriculum content and pedagogies. Postmodernist educators accept the inherent uncertainty in curriculum outcomes and do not seek precise predictions or absolute effectiveness. This approach embraces surprise and anticipated consequences, viewing them as integral to educational growth and innovation. Postmodernist approaches favor flexibility, interpretive analysis, and the challenging of the established norms, in contrast to the rule driven, outcome focused modernist perspectives in curriculum implementation. There are stages of curriculum change. Number one is the implementation. It is number one stage. What's the purpose of this? It introduces the innovation, challenges existing perceptions, and aims to align the curriculum with broader educational goals. What would be the outcome? Engages all stakeholders in collaborative adaptation of the curriculum, with teachers and other educators personalizing it for optimal student learning. Key actions. You have to define the action space, civic capacity, professional capacity, and funding. You have to identify the involved stakeholders, engage their readiness and level of support. Secure necessary financial commitments from both the school and community. Ensure alignment between the curriculum's goals and community schools' expectations. The second stage is initiation. What's the purpose? Prepares the school and community for the planned curriculum change. What would be the outcome? establishes a receptive environment for curriculum change, laying the foundation for effective implementation. What are the key actions? They may encourage stakeholders to rethink the educational objectives within a complex global context. Evaluate the fit of the new program in terms of feasibility, relevance, and community acceptance. Foster belief in the program's value, addressing both encouraging and discouraging viewpoints to build consensus. Develop learning communities that support teacher collaboration, open communication, and collegial relationships. Next stage is the maintenance. What is its purpose? It ensures the ongoing use and adaptation of the curriculum innovation over time. What's the outcome? Fostered sustained commitment to the curriculum through emotional and moral investment, ensuring the innovation remains relevant and effective. Key actions are monitor and support the continuation of the innovation to prevent from fading or becoming diluted. Address teachers and students' emotional and moral connections to the curriculum to foster commitment. Cultivate enthusiasm and positive emotional responses toward the curriculum aims, content, and pedagogy. Okay, before we shall proceed to lesson 3, which is the curriculum implementation models, I would just like to ask you, how would you argue for a postmodernist approach to curriculum implementation in this century? Let's talk about the modernist model. Key principles of the ORC model. Success depends on learners' ability to address and mitigate resistance by understanding and addressing staff concerns. Sharing decision-making power with administrators and teachers, leaders can foster a sense of ownership, making staff feel more committed to the change. The ORC model identifies specific types of concerns at each stage, which must be addressed to build acceptance and involvement. In Hall and Susan Locke's divided implementation into 4 stages. Number 1 stage, unrelated concerns. At this stage, teachers do not see a relationship between themselves and the suggested change, which they therefore do not resist. For example, a teacher might be aware of the school's efforts to create a new science program, but not feel personally or professionally affected. Stage 2, personal concerns. At this stage, individuals react to the innovation in terms of their personal situation. They are concerned with how the new program will affect what they are doing. For example, biology teachers consider their involvement in a new science program and its effects on their teaching. Stage number 3, task-related concerns. These concerns relate to the actual use of the innovation in the classroom. For example, an English teacher would be concerned about how to implement a new language arts program. How much time will be required to teach this new program? Will adequate materials be provided? What are the best strategies for teaching the new program? Stage 4, impact related concerns. At this stage, a teacher is concerned with how the innovation will affect students, colleagues, and the community. The teacher might also want to determine the program's impact on his own or her own subject area. For example, will a new mathematics program influence a teacher's teaching methods and content topics in ways that help students better understand mathematics? Number 2, organizational development model or the OD model. The organizational development model, developed by Richard Smock and Matthew Miles in 1970s, challenges the traditional, rational, and technical approaches to educational improvement. It critiques the assumption that educational change is a linear and purely logical process, focusing instead on the dynamic, interactive, and collaborative nature of change. I'll be presenting to you the 7 characteristics of OD French and Bell. Number 1, emphasis on collaborative problem solving and decision making. Number 2, focus on enhancing relationships between various groups, teachers, students, and administrators. 3, a feedback-driven participatory research method for ongoing improvement. Number four, active collaboration at all levels, from leadership to classroom practitioners. Number five, understanding that the culture of an organization is key to any change process. Leaders facilitate change by guiding and supporting rather than dictating. Acknowledges the need for ongoing change and adaptation within a constantly evolving environment. Another one is concerns-based adoption or the CBA. The concerns-based adoption or the CBA model is another approach to curriculum implementation focusing on the idea that individuals' concern must be addressed for effective change to occur. This model builds on the assumption that change originates with the individual and that organizations transform when individuals' behaviors change. It also emphasizes that teachers' concerns need to be understood and addressed for them to adopt new curriculum practices successfully. This model recognizes that individual change takes time, requiring learning new skills and adjusting attitudes before it can lead to institutional change. There are stages of concern. Number one, awareness of innovation. Teachers become aware of the new curriculum but don't yet understand how it will affect them. Number two, interest in learning about the innovation. Teachers are interested but don't yet see how the innovation will impact their practice. Concern for self. Teachers start to question whether they have the skills and knowledge to implement the new curriculum. Concern for teaching. Teachers become concerned with how to manage resources, time, and the practical aspects of teaching the curriculum. Let's talk about systems model. The system models of curriculum implementation builds upon the foundation principles of organizational development or the OD and concern-based adoption or the CBA models, using systems thinking to emphasize the interrelatedness and ongoing dynamics within educational organization. This model underscores that curriculum change is a complex, evolving process shaped by interactions between people, structures, and systems. These are the key concepts of the systems model. Schools as a system. Schools function as loosely coupled units, meaning that various departments, classrooms, and individuals within the school have flexible, interconnected relationships rather than rigid hierarchical ones. Curriculum implementation, therefore, cannot be a top-down directive because it involves a variety of actors, teachers, administrators, students interacting within a broader organizational system. Decisions made by higher level administrative teams or curricular committee affect lower level teams, teachers, and departments. Positive interactions at these levels, built on mutual respect, support, and trust, are crucial for fostering effective implementation. Curriculum implementation is never finished because every teaching and learning interaction is unique. Even when a curriculum is introduced, its impact varies based on the students, teachers, and context in each classroom. Every academic year presents new challenges, new students, and new opportunities for improvement. Therefore, successful implementation is an ongoing process where continual reflection and adaptation are essential. Postmodernist models of curriculum development and implementation offer a philosophical critique of modernist views, especially the belief that precise structured plans lead directly to specific, predictable learning outcomes. They emphasize the dynamic, evolving nature of curriculum, recognizing that no curriculum is ever truly finished, as it is continuously shaped by a range of factors, including the students' backgrounds, interests, and the unique circumstances of the classroom. Key concepts of postmodernist models. Curriculum in the making. Roth argues that curriculum is never static. It is always in the process of being created, even as it is being taught. After a curriculum is implemented, its full impact can only be understood in retrospect, as it will change with each group of students and context. This aligns with postmodernism view of knowledge and education as always unfinished and evolving. Key concept of postmodernist models. Postmodernism encourages contextual and reflective approaches to curriculum development, suggesting that educators should consider the personal, historical, and social context of their students when designing and implementing curricula. Teachers play a key role in assisting students in crafting their own learning experiences, which involves engaging with curriculum in a creative and personal manner. Teachers help students in their journey of constructing knowledge and forming emotional and intellectual responses to the material. Okay, before we end with our chapter 6, please answer this third question. What defenses would you employ to convince others to use students and community members in curriculum implementation? Thank you very much.